Hello Gemini, I am Ulrich, I'm a Lenormand card reader, and today we will do the financial card reading for the sign of Gemini for the month of December. But before we start, I want to wish you all happy holidays. I hope you stay in very good health for the year to come. And of course, I want you to have all financial prosperity for the coming year. Anyway, coming back to the card reading, as always, we will do 4 card readings for the sign of Gemini for the month of December. And these are based on the natural elements in your astrological chart, and for some of you on your time of birth. These basic elements are air, earth, water, and fire. Now, the 4 objects that you always see on my table are directly connected to those elements. So you choose or you pick one that you think relates to your personality, or you choose one you feel most comfortable with. This object of your choice, it should or it will relate the best to your current financial situation. However, if the object and the related video does not match your first choice, please check the other videos that are directly connected in the same session. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. Anyway, the matches represent the fire element, the stone represents the earth element, the aerosol spray represents the air element, and the shell represents the water element. I also want to add, if you have questions, you can always post them below in the comments. I will be happy to answer them if I have time. Anyway, Gemini, here we go for your financial philosophical card reading for the month of December. Hello Gemini, and welcome to the Shell or the Water group for your short philosophical financial card reading for the month of December. As the first card here, we see the card of creativity. Here, this card tells us we need to be creative with our money. Today we live in a world actually that suffocates our wallet and our imagination. And in the end, we all pay for our lack of creativity. For an example, if you need to pack something for a present that you will buy for this month, instead of buying the box, you probably could design a box in a few minutes with some leftover materials there and make a storage box with those recycled materials here. Sometimes we spend hours for find the original box for packing a present, but this card tells us to be original and save money at the same time here. This is what this card is about. For instance, if there is a birthday coming up for your son, daughter, your wife, your husband here, with a little bit inventiveness, you could prepare a party for them and having a lot of fun with home cooked meals, with desserts you make for yourself. You make a cake, you bake a cake. And you don't pay astronomical bills for it. This card is the originality here, is the order of the day. So this card asks you to think out of the box here and use your creativity also and use them in a different way. So take some time off to stimulate your creativity today and think what you could do for yourself by being creative, and at the same time also be creative with your money. If you have certain things you want to achieve with your money, for making some savings also, it's about that, thinking about savings we can make, but especially your imaginative spirit in the kitchen also, how you can economize in your office, how you can manage your family better. So embark on this adventure. The next card is the card of social pressure. What is this? Well, by nature, we human beings, or at least most of us, compare ourselves to others, to our peers. We live in a community that is determining our place in relationship to others. And we need to add, we operate in a society of overconsumption. And if we look around us, maybe not too far, we see that our neighbors, friends, people who are close to us, they driving around in nice new luxurious cars, they wear designer clothes, they have the latest gadgets, and maybe sometimes you, for your part, you have difficulties to make ends at the end of the month, and then you ask yourself, me, I'm so careful with my money, how do my neighbors, friends, relatives manage to get there? Well, this card tells you not to be fooled by appearances here. We make choices every day and you are the sole responsible for that. So don't let others, their financial appearance fool you here. This card suggest to use your money wisely. If you have certain things that you need to buy, like big purchases, for instance, that are to come in the near future, for instance, for a car, instead of buying a new car, you could consider a young used car, maybe with an official dealer that comes with the official warranty. It's slightly used, but you will still have your full warranty and you will save a lot of money. For instance, if we might need to buy a new microwave, or we need to buy an electronic device, for instance, a cell phone, there's a lot of websites who are specialized in articles that are still packed or still new, never used. The warranty is still with them, so you take over the warranty of the previous owner. So here with this card tells us to be smart, and this card tells us to be creative with our money. This is what we are seeing here with this combination of cards. So here this card tells us to define your personality and your accomplishments according to your own budgets here. These are ultimately much more important than designer clothes, new designer clothes, new cars, whatever it is you see that they put up in front of your eyes, for instance, that the media constantly push up to you by TV, by publicity we see everywhere. So don't be pressured by socially by these media around us. Keep your distance from them and go your own way. The last card is the card about food. This first tells us that probably we need to take care of our health, but in general we need to, but also this card stimulates us to eat more healthy. If for another part, for instance, you see in your budget that you spend a lot of takeout meals, that you go a lot in restaurants, and then you don't cook too often yourself anymore. This card tells you also to be more creative in your kitchen and start cooking more yourself. Why? Well, for starters, you will save a lot of money if you cook yourself. Also, you will eat much more healthier and you will save a lot of money. Of course, it takes time. We are aware of that. And eating in a restaurant, it's more easier, or takeout meals. But here is that we eat more healthy. We spend our money on a different basis. So this card tells us to take our pots and our pans back out of the closet, save on your expenses, save on your health, become healthier. You will not have a hefty bill at the end of the month by, for instance, by always buying the takeouts or pre-prepared meals. Also here we see that we need to plan more our home cooking here. This card wants you to reintroduce the joy of culinary art to yourself. You will eat better, you will feel healthier, probably you will lose maybe weight also if you don't have to. And here you will also be financially much better off. So for this group, this is all for this month, for the philosophical card reading, for this sign, for the Gemini sign. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short financial card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading didn't fit you at all, please check out the other 3 card readings that are immediately connected to it. And also please check out the monthly Lenormand card readings that we do in very extent for the sign of Gemini that you can find on my channel. You will find a lot of information there for your sign for the coming month. Anyway, I want to thank you for your time, and I'm sure we see each other in my other videos. Thank you and bye-bye for now. Hello Gemini, and welcome to the Aerosol or the Air group for your short philosophical card reading for the month of December. As the first card here, we see the card that every little bit of money, even small coins, are important here. This is what we see here with this card, and it also makes us aware of the phenomenon of bank cards. Most of us pay with plastic money, and sometimes we get the impression, even if we pay small amounts of money with these credit cards, that it don't have or it does not affect our finances, but actually it does. And also the problem is here with credit cards are actually our brain don't calculate, so we have the impression that we don't spend. So here this card wants us to realize, and if we can also, we pay more cash during the holidays because we get a better overview. If we pay cash, if we hand over the money in cash, we actually get a pain response in our brain. We see the money disappearing out of our wallet. So we get a better feeling here. This is what this card is about. We need to get a better feeling with our money, and we need to be aware that small amounts of money that we spend, that they mount up to serious big amounts at the end of each month, and of course of each year. Here with this card, it tells us to get ourselves back in control. Don't spend easy small amounts of money. If you do a purchase, ask yourself each payment that you make with the credit card if it was really necessary. So stop these insignificant small disbursements which you do, which accumulate to large amounts. So do yourself a favor and be wise. Don't spend small amounts of money here. It's through a series of small micro decisions here that we get back on our feet. So start controlling your expenses, even the small amounts of money. The next card is actually very in line with the current days. This is about the card about gifts. We all like to receive gifts, of course, and also we like to give them to others. And during the holidays, we know we give in excess. But here this card asks you if you are still original in your presents. Can we be generous without penalizing our wallet? Well, this card tells we can, but of course it takes planning, it makes time, but of course it's worth the effort here. Rather than buying small baskets of gifts or buying small gifts, come up with a few ideas yourself. As you see here, there are pots here. These pots are filled with jam, they are filled with cookies. You could fill them with ointments that you buy or make yourself. Here this card is about creatively using your money. For instance, if you, and you can of course present them then with fabrics, with ribbons, and they will be greatly appreciated by the people you give them to. Why? Well, because you actually give them two gifts. You give them, for instance, first the gift itself, but you also give them your time. And as we know, in our current society, the most precious gifts that we have from all is time. Time is the most precious gift that we can give to people. So here, this card tells you to plan your gifts well. If you are not the creative type yourself, and you know that each year you overspend during the holidays, this card tells you, or it wants to teach you, or it tells you to make a list. And you put a name for each person that you need to give a present to, or you want to give a present to, and you put an amount to that person. I know this is not easy, and you don't want to bring another person for another person, and you don't want to spend more. But here, this card tells you to use your mind, to be strict for yourself. Make a list, and every person gets a certain amount. So in this way, you will more easy to budget. And before you come to the cashier, you will already exactly know what you're gonna spend. And if we don't make this list, we don't know. So this prevents us from getting carried away or become compulsive here. We don't drain our wallet this way. So boost your creativity, be smart with your money during the holidays. The last card is the card about positive debts and negative debts. What is the difference? Well, negative debts are, for instance, debts we have on credit cards. So if we have open credit cards, we are all aware, or at least most of us are aware, that we pay interests on that. Some of these cards are real sharks, so we need to be careful. These are considered negative debts. So we buy something, but if our credit card is in below zero balance, with some credit cards, we pay 20–25% interest. So actually, the gift that you buy costs you 25% more. Why? Because you didn't balance out your account at the end of the month. These are negative debts, and you don't want these because they have a very negative impact on your money in general. Then we have the positive debts. What are positive debts? Well, positive debts are, for instance, the loan you have on your house here. And here we see this is a positive debt. Why? Well, if you have your own property, since a lot of things devaluated. Since we are in this crisis, we see that real estate has a very strong feet on the ground here now. Real estate is very expensive these days. And if you make expenses or additional expenses on your house, this adds to the value of your house. So actually, if you pay your debts on your house, you actually increase the value of your house. So if you want to take additional loans on your house, small loans for adjustment, these actually pay themselves back because the value of the property goes off. So these are positive debts, and this card stimulates you and it wants you to save money on your house and invest in your home. Because this is a good thing to do, because these are positive debts that you make in the long run, and your house, it goes up in value every year. So in the end, you gain money instead of that you lose money. So Gemini, for the Air group, this is all for now. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other 3 card readings that are directly connected to it. And also check out our monthly Lenormand card readings that we do each month in depth for your sign. There's a lot of information there you can find for the month to come. Anyway, I want to thank you for your time, and I'm sure we see each other in my other videos. Thank you and bye-bye for now. Hello, Gemini, and welcome to the Stone or the Earth group for your short philosophical card reading for the month of December. As the first card here, we see the card of our mensualities. It means the payments we make every month. Each household has them, such as our telephone bills, our internet connections, our internet bills here, insurances, magazine subscriptions. And this card, these things are recurrent and systematic, you know them, and we don't pay little or no attention to them. But did you know that you probably subscribe to those things during a promotion? And after the promotion, these companies have the right to put you in a different paying system. So here this card tells us we need to check if the company kept us in the promotion. In general, they don't, and they are smart. So here this card tells you to check on your, for instance, on your internet bills, if this is still the same amount that you pay as the time you signed in. We don't notice that and we don't check them, but we as an informed customer, or we assumed to be informed here, we don't see these changes in expenses here. We don't pay attention to them, especially if they are time limited. Sometimes we forget here. So if you see there are some changes here, call the internet company and ask them to put your back in your old system. See if you cannot take additional discounts or advantages here. This is also about our insurance here. Check your insurance portfolio and see if you cannot take a review on your portfolio, if there is not a better offer, if there is not a better broker here. Also, this is about the annual expenses on our bank accounts. What is that? Well, we all have expenses. Every time we withdraw money, it costs us money. Also, we have the cards, our credit cards that cost us. Not all banks have the same expenses. Here also, you should check what your bank is charging you. You should compare with other banks, and you will be surprised what your bank is charging you on annual basis. If you want to get out of the regular system and you want to get a more cheaper deal, well, the cheaper deal nowadays is, of course, internet banking. Why are those internet banks so cheap? Well, it's actually very simple. They have no branches and they have no staff. So if they have no branches, they have no locations, and they have no staff to pay, so the whole thing becomes cheaper. You think probably, yeah, but are they safe? Well, in general, they are connected to big banks. So if you do a little bit of research, even if they operate under a different name, they are closely connected to big banks. The advantage that this will give you, and don't be surprised about this, that you will annually save €2,000 to dollar a year. So this is only a small amount here that you will save. This is the basics, because this is what an annual account costs us in general. Why? It's not because of the expense, but it's because we always withdraw money. This is why. So you need to see if you cannot get a better deal, and I'm sure you can do this if you would be interested in that. So check your annual and your monthly expenses here with these banks here. Anyway, it points here, this card, that each small amount and every time we withdraw, this is important and it will make a big difference for you on an annual or a monthly basis. So calculate all these small expenses and see where you come out, and you will be surprised, and you can use that for something else, for another budget that you probably need for something else, maybe for adjustments in your home, or you want to have a trip or whatever. You can use this money in a wise way and not spend it on a bank for their buildings and for their staff. Here, the second card that we see is the card of food. For first, this tells us that we probably can eat more healthy. This is possible here with this card, but in general, this points to that we probably buy a lot of takeout meals. We go a lot in restaurant, we enjoy life. This card tells us probably this has a certain pressure, or puts a certain pressure on your budget. So this card tells us, instead of buying always takeouts or order out or go out for dinner, maybe we should consider here to take our pots and our pans back out of the closet and start cooking again. Why? Well, we will save a lot of money in doing so, and also we will eat a lot healthier. Why? Well, if we cook ourselves, it will be fresh cooked, home cooked, and we will have a lot more vitamins also, and at the same time we will save a lot on our expenses. We will not overspend. We will lose the overspending that we do now, probably with always buying the takeouts. So learn back, reintroduce yourself in the joy of culinary art. You will eat better, you will feel healthier, and of course, you will be financially a lot better off. The last card here is the card of budget. What does this card mean? Well, this card means that if we want to achieve certain things in our life, we need to budget, we need to manage. So this requires a form of leadership and management here. This is what we are seeing here. And this card asks you for yourself if you are a management type for money, or you're a budget type, or you are not a budget type. Mostly we are divided in two groups: the group who is budgeting and the group who is not budgeting. So you need to make out for yourself where you belong to. Do you consider yourself to have weaknesses here? Also here, this card is about making a plan. We need to make a plan for the future here. We need to foresee certain shortages in our budget here. This card tells you also, do you have savings? Do you have a safety cushion on the long run? This card tells you, if you have not anything foreseen for the future, you should find an alternative. You should adjust to the situation. You should learn the way you pay, maybe by paying cash. Also, we can save a lot of money. Why? Because if we pay cash, we actually have a sense with our money. Meaning, if we take money out of our wallet and we pay it to the cashier, this gives us a pain response in our brain. We are not going to die from it, but actually we calculate. That is the point. But if we pay with a credit card, it doesn't give us actually a sense or a feeling of money. We don't know what we pay. We have no idea. And even at the end of the month, when everything arrives from the bank on the email, what we have spent, we don't even open the email. But if you pay cash, you actually see what you are spending. And this is what this card is also about. You need to determine here what kind of type you are, how to budget best for yourself. Here, this card is about finding a final balance for yourself and progressing, advancing yourself with saving small amounts of money and trying to eat more healthy. Anyway, Gemini, for the Stone Group, this is all. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short financial card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check out the other 3 card readings that are connected here. And please check out also our monthly Lenormand card readings, who are very much in depth. This is another deck. This is about things happening in the near future for you. You can find a lot of information there for yourself in the month to come. Anyway, I want to thank you for your time, and I'm sure we see each other in my other videos. Thank you for your time, and bye-bye for now. Hello, Gemini, and welcome to the Matches or the Fire group for your short philosophical financial card reading for the month of December. As the first card, we see here the card of social pressure. What does this card mean? Well, human beings, we are constantly comparing ourselves with other people, meaning our neighbors, our brothers, our sisters, people who live around us. And this determines our place in society. And as we know, we live in a society of overconsumption. And probably you see on regular basis that your brothers, sisters, neighbors, people around you, they buy nice luxurious cars, they wear nice designer clothes, they have the latest pairs of shoes, the latest electronic gadgets, and maybe you, for your part, you have difficulties at the month in making payments. And then you think to yourself, how do these people, my neighbors, friends, relatives, how do they manage to get there? This card tells us not to be fooled and don't compare your financial situation to them. And also what we see with our eyes is not always actually happening. So don't be fooled about this view that you get. This card tells you if you use your money wisely so far, or if you use your money wisely so far, to continue to do so. Here, for instance, also we see that we need to be wise the way we use our money. For instance, if your car is already old and you're expecting you need to buy a new car in the foreseeable time, here this card tells us, for instance, like we consider buying a young used car. For instance, there's a lot of dealers who have young used cars with full factory warranty, and they have a low mileage. So here you are fully covered, but you will save a very serious amount of money because the car is slightly used. For instance, if you need a new microwave, you need some new cell phone. There's a lot of sites, websites on the internet that sell things that are very young. For instance, there are cell phones or microwaves you can find there that are not even used. They're still packed, they were never opened, and most of them are still in warranty. So here this card tells us, don't bend for social pressure, don't bend for advertisements. Just go your own way in life. You are the one who decide here with this thing here, how you buy. Also coming back to our friends, neighbors, peers, what looks good on the outside is not necessarily so. It's not what you see from these people, what they buy, it's necessarily paid. So here we need to be very careful here what we see with our eyes. Anyway, this card tells us to live accordingly our own needs and our own abilities, and don't bend for social pressure of media, advertisements. These are your own mind, and your own financial stability is much more important than you go the same way as the people who constantly buy and maybe come in difficulties while you stay out of them. The next card here is the card of food. For instance, for starters, this card tells us that this tells us that we maybe need to eat more healthy, take care of our health. But the second meaning of this card is that we live in a hectic world. We all work a lot, we spend a lot of time, we do many hours. And this card tells us probably that we buy a lot of takeouts, we order out a lot, the food is delivered in the home. Also, maybe we buy a lot of meals that are already fixed in the supermarket, and this card tells you to review that. Why? Well, first, for starters, this costs us a lot of money, and it has a certain pressure on your budget. And this card tells us to take our pots and our pans back out of the closet. Why? Well, for starters, it's more healthy, and secondly, of course, it will save us a lot of money. Of course, I'm aware of the time concept, but here you gain a lot of money also, but you will need to make time for it. Here we see with this card, if we don't spend money on this, we can save this money for something else. Maybe we can save this money for a trip. Maybe we can save this money for something that we need to buy in the future, something that is expensive, and we don't need to spend it necessarily always on takeouts. So here, this card tells us, learn the joys again of culinary art. You will eat better, you will feel healthier, and of course, financially, you will be a lot better off. The last card is the card of acceptation. What does this card mean? Well, it means actually here this card, maybe you are in a certain financial condition that makes you happy or unhappy. It could be also that you are in the evolvement for coming in a better situation and you are balancing yourself out here. The point of this card is actually that we can all aspire to the American dream of abundance and wealth, but this card tells us that this not necessarily comes with happiness. Here we need to appreciate our current situation, and there are people that always be better off than we are, but also there are people who are a lot worse off, poorer, who have severe problems now, especially now with the viruses around us. A lot of people lost their jobs, lost their businesses because of these viruses that are swarming around us or should be swarming around us. Here, this is what we are seeing here. This card tells us it's not what we earn that matters, but it's the management of our budget. So here this card tells us to make a balance between your income and your expenses. It's a little bit related here to the next card. So whatever your income or savings may be, it's our actions that determine if we are short of money or not. This card wants you to establish and check where you are and where you want to go. Improve your daily life by spending within your means and try to save more money on several fronts here in your life. Don't bend for social pressure and try to eat healthy. So Gemini, for the fire group, this is all for this month. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical financial card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check out the other 3 card readings that are immediately connected to it. And please check out also our monthly Lenormand card readings that we do each month for your sign, which are, this is a different deck than this one, which are very much in detail about your life to come for the coming month. Anyway, I want to thank you for your time and the time you spend on my channel, and I'm sure we see each other in my other videos. Thank you and bye-bye for now.